guys, my name is Joe Ghost and welcome to another In the Studio tutorial. I'm loving all the feedback you guys are giving me. I'm glad you guys enjoy it. And so for this one, I want to give back to you guys a little bit. And I know getting into producing is really expensive. Between getting your DAW and your speakers, it could be pretty costly. So for this episode, I just want to go through my top 5 free VSTs that would help you get the sound you want and achieve it without having to spend money on the bigger, more expensive plugins. So for this one, I'm going to show you the examples through my Fetty Wap remix, which came out. I think it's almost at 100,000 listens, which is pretty cool. So you get an idea of how to stick them in. So the first one we're going to talk about is actually my favorite one. It's called Camel Crusher by Camel Audio. It's a really great plugin, and it's a sound coloring plugin. Basically, it can be used to push your sound really aggressively. And a lot of big room guys use it. A lot of like ravey guys use it. It just gets your lead sounding really like loud. And if you're using like plugins like VSTs like Nexus, it really helps change the sound because you can't really alter the sounds in that VST. So on this one, I use it on my Rave synth, and this is what it sounds like without. So as you can see, it's there. It doesn't really have a lot of impact. It's just sitting there. It sounds really cool. But when I add it in, it makes it sound a lot more aggressive and gives it more space. So yeah, this is the plugin. And as you can see, it has a distortion, filter, a compression, and a master channel where you can mix basically the dry signal and what Camel Crusher is doing to it. A lot of guys I see using Annihilate, the British Clean, the More Beef. There's a lot of great like presets on it and patches that you could use. So I just want to show you again with it in the mix. Sorry, without it in the mix. It's there. It doesn't really have a lot of space. And then when we put it with it on, just more in your face, and it gives a lot more feeling. So it's one I definitely suggest you guys grab. So the next one is something I actually use a lot too, and it's a reverb by a company called Tal. And it's nothing like crazy out of the box. It's just a great plain plate reverb, and I use it a lot just on sounds that I just need to add a little bit of shimmer. So it's pretty generic. I use it on my rave lead. Just adds a little bit of space, and it's a really good plugin, really easy to use. And it has what you need if you want to get a little more technical in it with the room size, the pre-delay, how long it takes for it to come in, and just simple dry and wet knobs. So the third one that I suggest getting is by a company called Voxano, and it's called Span. And basically what it is a spectrum analyzer. And spectrum analyzers are really important to have, especially if you're just getting into production, because they can show you exactly what's going on with your sound. So this is my hi-hat, and as you can see, I have it coming up the higher frequencies and nothing coming into the low end frequencies. And for me, and when I got into production, having a good spectrum analyzer really helped me to see other songs and what would make them sound as good as they were. So maybe I was finding some of my songs a little flat, and I noticed that in the songs I was comparing them to, there was like more mid-range, more high-end, maybe a little more bass. So it's really good to get a good spectrum analyzer, and this is a really good free one. And it basically doesn't add any color to your sound or anything. It just shows you what's going on with your mix, which is really important. So the next one I suggest you guys get is called Upstereo, and basically what it is a simple, useful tool, and it makes your mixes sound a lot bigger by giving them depth in your stereo and a lot more loudness. It's important to use stereo in your track and have stuff spread out or stuff more mono. I like to picture my songs as like a box. And then in the middle of the box, you have your bass, and then you build out your sounds from the middle. So I might have my hi-hats really wide in the box. You just want to fill up that box spectrum where everything fits neatly and nothing's really compiled with each other. So for example, on my hats, on this track, I wanted them more wider. So I put up stereo, and I just switch this knob a little bit more to the width. And what it does is it just makes them spread a little bit more. So this is it without it. See, it's a little more in the middle of the mix, and then with it on, it's more spread out. And I also use that on my bass because, like I said, I like my bass in the middle. So what I do is I'll switch it all the way to mono. Right here. Switch all the mono, and it'll compress it into right into the middle of the mix, and it just sounds better with the bass and the kick and everything. Makes everything sit nice and gives everything more life in your mix. So next one's a really cool one. It's by a company called Flax, and it's called Bittersweet. And basically what this is a transient designer. And transient designers are important because they could get your percussions or drums a lot louder in the mix by making the transient hit a lot louder at certain points when you want it to. So on this one I actually use it on my clap. And so basically what you're doing is when you make it go to bitter and have a short attack, as soon as it hits, it's going to hit louder and then come down again. So it gives a lot more like snappiness on something like a clap. So this is it with it off. And this is with it on. So you can hear right when it attacks, it has a lot more feeling. And then in the mix, it really stands out over the kick. And this is also cool because you can switch it to the sweet side, and it takes away almost like a sidechain, but just takes away from where you want it to be. So if I have it there, it just takes away a bit from the attack, so it doesn't hit as hard in the attacks. It's really cool plugin that could be useful. Okay, so the last one I suggest you guys getting is called Exoscope, and this actually came to me from my buddy Mac J. Shout out to Mac J. It's a very useful tool which basically shows you the waveform of what's going on in your track. So like somebody like me, before I started using SD cards and USDs while I was DJing, I was using programs like Serato. And basically you see the waveform of what's happening. So when I was making music, it was cool to see exactly what I would see in my Serato. So this is it. So it doesn't do anything crazy, it just shows you exactly what's going on with the track, and it helps you to see what's going on with your sound. So like say if I mute my kick and then play it, I can see exactly how my kick waveform looks or my clap. It's a really, really cool tool, and I'm glad that I started using it. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. I'm going to put these all available for download on my Facebook page under downloads, so it's easy to find. And let me know what you think. If you have any other free downloads, comment and let other people know them. Thanks.
Check this out.